Hi, everyone. Welcome to our October Student Leadership Virtual Conference. And we hope everybody's okay and able to log in and hear sound. If you could please type yes in the chat box if you're able to hear me. This is Molly Blair from Student Support Programs and Services talking. Okay, good. It looks like people have audio. Great. And I just want to draw your attention in case you're not aware of some of the features of Canvas. At the top left side of your screen, you have a choice if you want to click on the little headphones. You could share your microphone if you're wanting to speak and make your voice be heard. Otherwise, you can use the chat box. There's also a little camera icon. If you choose to share video and let us all see you, you're welcome to do that as well. So we're very excited to have student leaders from all over the county joining us today. So I want to give you a chance to let us know who you are. So if you could type your name if you're participating as an individual, or your school, or the name of your club if you're a group. So you might type your name if you're there on your own, but if you are a club, you might type like Longhorn United or Gators Together, or whatever is the the name of your student group. And then also your grade level. And for all of us, our student leaders and our adult participants, we just want to go over the expectations for digital citizenship on this conference. So we want to make sure we are communicating respectfully, and we're going to use the chat box to talk to each other, or if you choose to make your voice heard, you can use the little raise hand icon on the left-hand side, and that will let me know that you are ready to speak, and that way I can unmute your microphone and let you talk. So if we all talk at once, it'll be hard to hear everybody. And most importantly, having fun and sharing your learning with others. And then we have our special hashtag, which is Pasco Together. So if you want to keep the conversation going using social media tools such as Twitter or any other accounts you may have, please feel free to use the Pasco Together hashtag. Can we spray for... All right, welcome everyone. So I just want to remind you guys, if you did attend the Together We Stand Youth and Community Summit back in August, our student leadership teams worked on action plans, and there were some different elements. So everybody's plan looked a little bit different, but we had certain things in common. So we all had a student leadership team. That team might look different. So in some cases it's a club, in some cases it's student council, in some cases it's just a group of students who volunteered, but there's student leadership in some way, shape, or form. We're doing some activities in our school. So once a quarter at least, we're doing something to help raise awareness about the importance of creating a positive school community. So it's not just about putting it into bullying, but it's about how do we make school a place where everyone feels safe, comfortable, and welcomed. Another component to this was our plan for welcoming new students to the school. So when you have someone coming in who's new to your school, maybe, if you're a middle school, it's a brand new 6th grader, high school, it's your new 9th graders, or maybe it's someone who moves in the middle of the year. How do you support and welcome that person? And then also some ideas for using social media in a positive way. So how are we using our social media tools to be a positive example and to be the change that we want to see in our school and our community? So those were the ideas that we had on our action plans back in August. So we want to check in and see how things are going. So first off, October is National Bullying Prevention Month. So we'd like to hear from you guys. How are student leaders observing National Bullying Prevention Month? So what kinds of ideas do you have? How's it going in your school? And do you have any questions that you might want to pose to the other student leaders who are on the chat with us today? We'll give you guys a minute. You can either type in the chat box or raise your hand to speak in response to these questions. All right, I see a hand up from Land O'Lakes High School. Hello. All right, Land O'Lakes, are you ready?
Yeah,
okay,
we're
great.
From Wiregrass.
Okay, hi. Sorry.
It's fine. We're recognizing National Unity Day on the 29th of October. We're getting some of our students together to do team building and confidence building exercises. We're dipping from all of the grades and having student representatives come in and discuss, our own personal, experiences with bullying and how we can ourselves, move forward and, help these kids stand up to their bullies and stand up to other bullies and
Great idea. Thank you, Wiregrass. So to our other student leaders who are on the call, do you have any questions for Wiregrass about what they're doing? So basically they're having a Unity Day and they're bringing students from all grade levels together to do some activities and talk about their own experiences and how they can make things better in their school. Any questions or comments for Wiregrass about that, or any other ideas from different groups? Okay, great. So Cruise Lake has all grade levels participating in autism awareness as well as respecting differences lessons. So learning about some of the differences and the challenges as well as strengths that individuals with autism spectrum disorders have. And then they're also doing a Mix It Up lunch during Red Ribbon Week to bring together students from different groups who might not traditionally come together. So very nice to hear that student leaders are assisting with that. Okay, I see a hand up from Wiregrass, and then I see John Long. Let's see, we'll start with John Long and then Wiregrass. All right, Longhorn United, are you ready? Hello, John Long Middle School. Okay, we'll come back to John Long. Sounds like some technical difficulties. What about Wiregrass? Hello, Wiregrass.
We're the student representatives from SAD Club, and we were thinking about, because it's National Bullying Prevention Month, we were thinking about going to the elementary schools in our area, like Sam Pine or Double Branch or any of those, to talk to the kids about like standing up to bullies or doing like an anti-bullying campaign, or even reading books about bullying and how to stop it, just to get them exposed to things like this and get them thinking about how it's wrong and we should, work to stop this.
Great idea from Wiregrass Ranch SAD Club. So they're talking about going to some of the elementary schools in their feeder pattern to speak directly with students and maybe read some books and talk about preventing bullying. It's an awesome idea. I'd recommend, connecting with the principal and the school counselor at the schools you're thinking about going to get that set up. Thank you. All right, I see Longhorn United is waiting patiently. Are you ready? Okay, John Long, are you ready? Okay, we'll come back to you guys. No audio there. And I see that Stewart Middle School is excited to be starting school-wide weekly victim-proof bullying prevention instruction. So there's going to be some instruction every week to help students stand up to bullying. Right, awesome ideas, everybody. It's great to hear our student leaders and our schools being so involved and having such different and impactful ideas for October as National Prevention Month, but then also throughout the school year. Okay, so now we've talked about some of your ideas for October. Let's hear about your student leadership team. So how many students are involved? What grade levels are you including? And what plans do you have? That's kind of cut off, but it says, how do you plan to make your school a better place? So how many students, what grade levels are represented, and what plans do you have to make your school a better place? And we'll let you speak in the chat box or by raising your hand in the on the left-hand side of the screen. And I keep seeing a hand up with John Long, but I'm not able to get audio. You may want to try typing in the chat box so we can all see what you'd like to say to us. Right, welcome, Bayonet Point. Okay, so great example from Trinity Oaks. Elementary students have developed an anti-bully squad, and it's made up of their student council, and they're focused on spreading awareness of what bullying is and how to respond. Very awesome. It doesn't matter what age level you are, you can be a leader. So great work from our elementary students. Any thoughts from the other student leaders on the call about your leadership group? Question for Trinity Oaks. How are you guys going to spread awareness about bullying? What are some things that you're going to do? And other schools can jump in on this question as well if you have thoughts about what you're planning to do, how you would like to spread awareness about bullying prevention. Okay, great comment from John Long Middle School. So they're including all grade levels 6th, 7th, and 8th grade at the middle school and trying to make their school better by including all students in their activities. Okay, classroom presentations, definitely a great way to help, either by classroom presentations by adults or presentations by student leaders. I know we had an idea from Wiregrass to maybe go to some of the elementary schools with presentations. All right, great ideas from Stewart Middle School. Students returning from last year and representing multiple grade levels involving SWAT Club as well, which is our students working against tobacco, if you're not familiar with that acronym. So SWAT Club does a lot of great work here in Pasco County to prevent the health risks associated with tobacco. And then moving into recruiting 6th graders later. And then Cruz Lake has some students who went through a whole interview and screening process and are now helping to meet and greet new students to the school, giving tours and sharing with them about all the great supports available at Cruz Lake. It's an awesome connection with the mentors as well as the student leaders. A great idea from Reagan at John Lung Middle School about working with elementary students to prevent bullying from a young age. Absolutely. We have to start teaching early and then continue it throughout all the school years. Awesome ideas and feedback from these groups. Thank you. Okay, so we started to talk a little bit about this already, but if you guys want to share a little bit more, that would be great. How are you welcoming new students to your building? So this is something we talked about and started planning at Together We Stand. We'd like to hear from you how it's going. What questions do you have for other student leaders? What are some things that maybe you can share from your school that others might be able to take and use with their population? Great idea from Bayonet Point. Tips to avoid bullying on the news. So their idea is to have a weekly segment on their school news about how to avoid bullying. That's a great idea. For anything you want to get the word out about, having it regularly on your news or announcements can really help, help spread the word and help keep that on people's minds. And remember our hashtag, I'll put it here in the chat box, it's Pasco Together. So if you want to tweet or share anything on social media, please use the hashtag today. Okay, great information from Cruz Lake Middle School. So their student leaders are helping to give tours to new students and also explaining some of the logistics of the school. So things like how they use Canvas, what they call the Raider Creed, which is their school-wide expectations, what they expect for behavior from all their students, and then also how to make a report. So if something's going on, such as bullying, that you want to let adults know about, either anonymously or not, there are some mailboxes throughout campus where kids can give information. So new students, as they're welcomed on campus, are informed of those things through their student leaders. And it's great to have kids making that personal connection when they're new to the school, because that can be very overwhelming. So it definitely helps to have someone identified to assist. Okay, and Bayonet Point has a great idea about incorporating on the school Facebook or Twitter page some information about what is cyberbullying and how to prevent it. Awesome idea, and there are definitely some good resources out there online that you can pull from for that information. And I think it can also be helpful for student leaders to work on creating that information. So what does it look like for Bayonet Point, and what would they like to share with other students and parents? Okay, Kevin from John Long Middle School has a question for all student leaders. So let's think about this. So everyone on the chat right now who's a student leader, let's think about Kevin's question and type answers in the chat box. How do you think we can make our schools a better place? So as student leaders, how do you think we can make our schools better? That's a great question from Kevin. And I think, I'll give time for student leaders and others to respond in that chat box. But one of the things that comes to my mind automatically is just being an example. So showing others, what it is to show kindness and respect for other people and to be inclusive. So definitely great idea. If you see someone alone, maybe go sit with them, go introduce yourself, help them to feel like they are wanted and like they're an important part of the school. I know some other student leadership teams have had success doing activities like a mix it up lunch where people are encouraged to sit in different places or meet different people during their lunchtime. Okay, so some good ideas there. We'll keep thinking about that. So what are things student leaders can do to make their school a better place? Because that's what it's all about, right? Okay, and John Long sharing a good example of how their president and vice president of their Longhorn United Club kind of work together to welcome a new student and help them not to be lonely in school. All right, so Valentina from Wiregrass. talking about teaching acceptance and inclusiveness of all students. So getting rid of cliques and helping people feel like they're part of a community rather than small groups. Absolutely. So Wiregrass is the school that had that plan to hold a Unity Day later in October. And that's kind of what Unity Day is all about, is getting people out of their regular clique, getting them talking to the larger group and sharing their experiences. So we see how we are really all more alike than different. And then Bayonet Point, their corporal is using Patriots on Patrol. So there are some students who are helping to patrol the campus and create a safe environment and show others the expectations. We've got a new hashtag. It's hashtag more alike than different. So if you're tweeting along, we have Pasco together, and now we have more alike than different. A great idea is good sharing from our student leaders. So another discussion question. Let's talk about how are we using social media in a positive way as student leaders? So what are some things we can do to set a positive example? Because we know there are sometimes things that go on social media that are not so positive. So how do we set that tone and use it in a way that's proactive and helps build the community? And then also, do you have questions for other student leaders about how they are using social media? So we'll give some time for discussion. So I can share out a few ideas I've heard from student leaders at various schools. I know Land O'Lakes High School, not able to join us today, but their student leadership group has a positive hashtag. They use hashtag Gators Together, kind of like we have Pasco together for the whole district. Land O'Lakes has Gators Together, and they highlight things that their club is doing or positive things from their campus using a hashtag. Okay, good concrete example from Bayonet Point. So if you see something bad online, not commenting, not adding to that discussion, and letting an adult know so that you can get help. If you don't comment on it, then you don't get sucked into those notifications and continuing to be part of that negative discussion. Absolutely. And then good comment from Stuart, setting a positive example, kindness, and helping those who are having a conflict to solve it peacefully. Okay, Cruise Lake also did a great thing with classroom visits. So they talked about respecting differences and took pictures during their classroom visits to post on the school webpage so that parents, students, other members of the community could see how students are respecting differences at Cruise Lake. And then also sharing some information about how to rise above peer pressure on the morning news. So that's a great connection with Red Ribbon Week and some of those prevention activities that are coming up. All right, and Jacob and Zach from Longhorns United are hosting a project. They're actually making a commercial about bullying that's going to be on the school news to promote their Mixed Up event. So very exciting. I'd love to see that commercial. Would you guys mind sharing a link once you get it filmed? So I'm wondering, a couple of people have mentioned solving conflicts in a peaceful way. So what are some examples of things you could do if you saw a conflict or some negative communication online? What are some things you could do to help that resolve in a peaceful way? So how can we resolve conflicts peacefully when we see them happening on social media? One of the great suggestions that Bayonet Point made was letting an adult know right away. So a parent, teacher, someone that you trust, letting them know what you're seeing, not getting involved in the conflict, maybe posting positive information or things that would be an example on your own social media. Okay, great thoughts there. And I love that schools are sharing some positive photos and videos, and even the idea of students creating a little commercial to help bring awareness to these issues. Okay, what about other questions or comments? Things that we have not gotten a chance to cover as of yet. And now we have student leaders and some staff from schools all over the district online together. So if there are things that you are thinking of that you maybe want to ask about or get some recommendations, this would be a good time to type in the chat box. Okay, great example from Trinity Oaks Elementary. So student leaders modeling the problem-solving process. So they're actually demonstrating the steps to dealing with the conflict. Because there are always specific things you can do, and if you've learned and practiced those steps, you're much more likely to use them in a situation where you might be feeling upset. Okay, great. Longhorn United says if we see cyberbullying, we will block it and help the person that was bullied. And if we see bullying around us, we will go get help and see what's going on. Right, good steps to take if you see cyberbullying, blocking and getting help. So we have had a special guest just join us. So Dr. Roy Kaplan has just walked in, and I'll tell you guys a little bit about Dr. Kaplan. He has over 40 years in the education field, and his whole career has been about helping students and teachers and parents to put an end to bullying and make schools safer and more of a positive community. So we're happy to have Dr. Kaplan here with us. And if you'd like to say hello, Dr. Kaplan, they can actually hear us talking.
Okay, it's nice to be part of this. I'm trying to get into the 20th century, forget about the 21st. So this is a new experience for me, and I'm looking forward to hearing your comments and participating.
Right, thank you. So while we have Dr. Kaplan and all these other student leaders on the line, we'll give a couple more minutes for questions, and then we'll go into learning about our next steps and some new upcoming activities in the district. I love the idea from Longhorn United to make a video about the club and letting other students know about their efforts. Okay, great example from Cruz Lake Middle School. So the research students who are part of that student leadership process completed a reflection, and then the staff and the faculty are using that to help refine the leadership team and help work with the students in the best possible way. All right, we have a question for Dr. Kaplan. This is from Emma at Wiregrass Ranch High School. Do you have any activities that you recommend for team building and confidence building at the high school level? So Wiregrass Ranch wants to know about activities for team building and confidence building at the high school level. Well, and they are getting ready to do a Unity Day pretty soon, too.
Oh, that's what I was going to recommend. I think what we have to do is help the staff to recognize that students have a lot to contribute. And, I've been doing these Unity Days for, 25, 30 years, and also sending students to Camp Anytown. Or, I think that's a great activity, too. That's a whole week of those activities all rolled into, a very intense program. But giving students a chance to dialogue, and also teachers a dialogue, and parents, and then combining them all so that they get to hear each other's issues and concerns so that they're not working on totally different levels. I think they're all part of a community. So everything that we can do to create a sense of community without always doing things for and to students, letting them do things themselves, empowering students, that's a different model. And it's not always easily accepted by people, by adults, because they never went through that model. But power sharing, that's the key.
Thank you, Dr. Kaplan. So it's all about students taking charge of their learning, owning that learning, whether it's about reading, math, or social studies, or whether we're learning about how to be a positive citizen and be part of a community. We have hashtag power sharing. I love the hashtags today. Okay, so question from Wiregrass. Would you be willing to work with our school to help us plan our Unity Day or be a guest speaker?
Absolutely. When do you have a date in mind?
October 29th. All right, Dr. Kaplan is checking his calendar.
What time?
What time is your Unity Day on the 29th? It's all day, so any time.
Well, that's the day of the Unity Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could make that. I have a hockey game that evening, but that's not the problem. The real problem is I'd like to get with students to help them plan this. So a week before, we do this at Zephyr Hills High School, and it's been very effective, and we've done it many places. I think the students should have a role in all this, and I don't want to impose things. I'll make suggestions, but if we can get 6 or 8 students, that could be part of a planning committee, and a week before, we'd get together, we sit down for an hour or two and go over some of these activities and let them pick and choose.
Okay, wonderful. So what Dr. Kaplan's saying is that 1 week before the Unity Day, he'd meet with your team at Wiregrass Ranch. And we have an email address I'll share with you. It's from Mrs. Rankin, the assistant principal, and she'll coordinate that meeting. They have a great student leadership team over there. Okay, great question from John Long Middle School. So they're saying, how we had safety patrol in elementary school? We should make a cyberbullying squad that would specialize in researching what it is and target people who have been cyberbullied around the Pasco area. So that could be a student research project to learn about, what is cyberbullying, what are the stories of people in Pasco who have experienced cyberbullying, and maybe talk to different people like I'm thinking school principals, police officers, school counselors, parents, other people who might have been involved in either experiencing cyberbullying or following up on the consequences with it.
That would be very powerful.
And Dr. Kaplan made a comment that would be a very powerful research project for students to take on. So absolutely, please keep us informed and let me know if I can help you with that in any way. I'm going to put my email address in the chat box as well. Right, great ideas and brainstorming from our student leaders across the county. Very impressive. Okay, John Long Middle School asking about their Mix It Up event on the 27th. I'll send an email to Mr. Hall about that and we'll coordinate how to get you guys some support with your Mix It Up event. Absolutely.
That's sponsored by, do they know who sponsored that? The Southern Poverty Law Center. And they can get free materials for all that.
So there's another comment here for Mix It Up Lunch. The sponsorship for Mix It Up Lunch comes through the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Right.
So you may want to Google them and look up Mix It Up Lunch.
They have all free materials. Yeah.
They have some free materials and things that schools can download or order to help set up Mix It Up events as well.
Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yeah,
Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yeah, they teach teaching tolerance is also one of their tools, and they have all kinds of study plans and guides and everything. It's all free.
They have everything free, so definitely look up Southern Poverty Law Center and Teaching Tolerance as some resources. Okay, so some next steps for us. We'll continue to use hashtag Pasco Together to keep that conversation going on social media. So if you're on Twitter or other social media, you can use hashtag Pasco Together, and that way we can all see each other's tweets and communication and things that we're sharing out. Also, Red Ribbon Week is coming up. So the week of October 23rd through 30th is recognized nationally as Red Ribbon Week. So that week really focuses on drug and violence prevention. So there'll be a lot of awareness activities going on in the community I know our student leaders on the call today mentioned a number of things, so stay tuned for a lot of activities around Red Ribbon Week. Here in Pasco County, our school board has signed a proclamation recognizing both October as National Bullying Prevention Month and then also that week at the end of October as Red Ribbon Week. And then finally, we have the Together We Stand 5K Run for Safe Schools. So if you like to run or you like to walk or just watch people run and walk, come cheer on your friends. We're going to be out at Starkey Park on December the 12th. There is online registration through active.com, and it's discounted, so Pasco County students and staff members have a reduced rate to enter the 5K run. And all the money we raised is going to be used to send Pasco County students to a leadership training camp. So all the money we get goes right back into building up that student leadership program. So those are just a few things we have coming up on the horizon for you guys. Please stay in touch and let us know how things are going in your school. And we have our next Student Leadership Conference coming up. We'll post the date again on the Canvas site. So that will be coming up in January when we come back from winter break. So at that time, we'll be gearing up for No Name Calling Week and how we're going to observe that throughout the district. All right, I want to thank you guys for all your active participation and attention. Do we have any questions or comments? Suggestions. So John Long is looking for suggestions on activities for Red Ribbon Week. That is a great question. And while we have our other schools and student leaders online, I'll open that up to the group. What ideas do you have for John Long to observe Red Ribbon Week? Twin Day. That's always a good one. So some schools will observe dress-up days, so maybe everyone wears a certain color on a certain day, or dressing up as a twin with your friend, or people will do like crazy hair or crazy socks day. I know we've had some of our schools do like college t-shirt day, so people wear a t-shirt or something from a college or a team that they like, teaming up against drugs. Sock it to drugs could be crazy sock day. We have Miss Lipinski here, who was an elementary school counselor, so she is full of ideas. Ooh, I like superhero day. I want to have that every day. Yeah, so going back to some of our earlier ideas around bullying prevention, we could also use the morning news at our schools to talk about Red Ribbon Week and maybe doing some classroom presentations. A great idea from Anclote High School, a door decorating contest, and then a prize of donuts for the winners of the contest, and then also an art contest. So some different ways to get creativity involved, displaying some student artwork. Okay, and from Cruise Lake, they have themed dress-up days, so wearing different things on different days, some videos along with the theme. They are also doing door decorating, a guest speaker, and each student is signing a pledge. So in alignment with the district vision and the goals of Red Ribbon Week, the students are also individually committing to taking some actions to make their school and their community a safer place. Great ideas and discussion today. I want to thank all of our Pasco County student leaders who participated. And we would love to see any pictures or videos of your upcoming activities. Please let us know how we can support you moving forward. And we're so happy and proud to see all the progress you guys are making. So we'll continue working together to make all of our schools better. And I want to thank everyone for your attention and active participation today and all the great ideas that you shared. Have a great rest of your week. All right, goodbye, everyone.